So a few weeks back, I decided that my shop needed some help. It was dusty, dirty, not really efficient. The dust collection didn't work, and then dust went everywhere. I know this is first world problems, but it was bad feng shui, and I wanted to fix it. So kind of tore everything out and started fresh, at least on this end of the room. And now, a few weeks later, this is what I have. Cleared everything off of this painted wall. I built built-ins on both sides of the miter table so that the stock can have some support on both ends. I got some proper doors, top and bottom, and now we're kind of ready to install equipment. I got some fancy lights underneath. Yeah, so super stoked. Everything's going well. It's time to move forward and bring my neighbor's miter saw back home. I use a miter saw a lot, so I decided to treat myself, but being cheap like I am, I bought a factory rebuilt one, ordered it through eBay, and the company was CPO outlets. So I got home one day, and by the side door, here was this box, and as soon as I saw the box, I went, oh no, this thing's got to be smashed. And sure enough, it was cracked in a couple of places, and there were some parts in the bottom of the box, and this was not good. Call the company, no problem, we'll take it back. Just box it back up. UPS will pick it up, which they didn't. I ended up bringing it to the UPS store myself. Several weeks later, all the time I'm waiting, I get the replacement, and it's in an even worse condition box. Same box, no padding, just a saw in a box with some brown paper around it. This saw was damaged also, surprisingly. Called them back up. I don't want this saw. I want my money back. No problem. Took many phone calls to get them to come pick it up, but they did pick it up, and I will get my money back. And I ordered a brand new one, and it came in 2 days. So, you know, hindsight's 20/20. But I would never buy a factory rebuilt tool from these people because they don't know how to put it in a box. This morning I'm going to move the jointer from here to against that clean wall. It's okay here, but there's usually sawhorses, or there's often sawhorses with lumber here, and it interferes with how long a board I can plane. And it's kind of a messy corner over here. I think it'll be neater by that white wall. So let's it doesn't drag easily, but let's get after it. All right, with the joiner moved over here, this is the original hose and that original fitting, and my blast gate is right here, and it works great, so I don't need to mess with that. If I put that 45 there, then it will come out roughly here. And now I gotta let this go. Let's see. Hold on, let me do this again. Okay, here we go, I got it. If I leave this and that original, attach this to the wall so it doesn't move. I'm not crazy about the long flex. I could make it shorter maybe, but it does allow me to drag this thing like out like 3 feet if I have something really long I want to plane, which doesn't usually happen because it's hard to plane anything real long with this planer. But anyway, so I'll come up the wall with a 45 and I have a Y, and if I go straight up, my existing 90 is 8.5 inches off, too far out, so I need to take it down and cut the pipe 8.5 inches. And then I can go straight down to the floor sweep, and I think I'll use this. So, and then I'll be back in business. I can turn the blower back on and be able to use the joiner if I need to. So let's do it. I think the only way to cut this pipe is just take it down. So I don't think it's glued. We'll just wiggle it and get it down. So I took the pipe off, and I got sawdust right here, pretty much full pipe. Probably because this end has never been open. So I'm turning the blower on, close all the other gates, and see if it'll suck that sawdust out. Oh yeah, that wasn't a problem. Here with everything hooked back up and with sharp knives installed. Sharp knives are wonderful. You can see, one, that the dust collection works pretty dang good. I don't think you can see any chips flying on the floor. And two, where the joiner was before, there's no way I would have been able to use a board this long on the joiner. There just wasn't room. But now we're in a good spot. So all good stuff. what I got. A brand new one, packaged correctly. Hindsight's 2020. If I would have only known, I would have just done this from the get-go. Got it in 3 days instead of a month. I cut out some treated pine boards. I'm making a little platform to set the vacuum cleaner on because it's in the back and it's just a dirt floor. So I just want something to level it up and get it off the dirt. So I'm gonna go back here and set it, and I'm covering myself with off because some mosquitoes back there are worse than anywhere in the country. I don't understand it. So this little dust deputy was in my shop a long time ago. I really have no memory of it actually. But I upgraded to the big boy, and I gave this to David, and he's never used it. He got a big boy, so it's been sitting over there, and I remember giving it to him, gave him a call, and he said, yeah, I still got it. So I said, I'm an Indian giver, I want it back. So originally it was on a 5-gallon bucket, not a 5-gallon, one of these big buckets, but I don't have the bucket. My neighbor, good neighbor Debbie Rock, she gave me another one. She gets these from her brother who has a swimming pool cleaning company, and they get Clorox or chlorine in these, but the top doesn't match. So I'm gonna have to take this wooden thing off of this black top. So all the screws are out. Hopefully the caulk doesn't hold it too well. Let's see if we can pry it off. So just like that, we have a hole in the new lid, and now we just need to put this on top and screw it. And it had something sticky, maybe silicone. I guess I can do that again, and seal it up and screw it from the bottom. Okay, this hose is part of the vacuum cleaner. I don't think you can take it off. I don't know how to take it off. But anyway, it fits like perfectly over the intake of this thing. I went ahead and put 2 wraps of duct tape just to give it a little squishy feeling, and it's on there, so it's good. Now this 2-inch hose fits 2-inch PVC pipe, which I want to use, but it's a little bit loose here. But I found this thing, so if I put this on there first, take up some of that slack, then it fits inside fairly well. But I need to cut it. It's a swivel joint. I need to cut it some kind of way without losing my fingers. Let's go see what we can do. Perfect. So I'm thinking come through the wall right here and go that way and feed 1, 2 hoses for the new saw. It has 2 dust pickups. And then I'll come this way and go this way, put a plug so I can hook up my long vacuum hose, which comes in pretty handy. And then outside, I'll 90 over toward the dust collector. So I did not get enough long reach 90s. I'll have to go get another one. But anyway, I drilled through to mark it. Then I go on the other side, cut a big hole. We can slip the pipe through. Okay, again, I have 2 wraps of duct tape on that tapered fitting, and this one fits on there nice and snug. So now this is going to go on there, and it's kind of a loose fit, but I can clamp it down with the pipe clamp. I'll go get a screwdriver. Okay, the outside part is done. The vacuum cleaner hose goes to the dust deputy. The dust deputy goes into this 2-inch pipe, which goes in through the wall. Now this isn't glued yet. I'm gonna have to have somebody help me hold it, because when I push on the fitting, it pushes the insides loose, so I can't glue it right now. But yeah, and the top is a 1/4 turn to get off. I don't have to spin it round and round, so I got plenty of slack here, and the bucket can be turned. So okay, let's move inside and get the tricky part. Okay, got my miter saw yesterday, received it, got it set up here, and I first started working on the dust collection. And I have 2-inch run from the vacuum cleaner, which is on the back side of the wall, and I put a Y to catch this part of this miter saw has 2 dust ports, and I want to catch this one to this one, and this one to this one. This dust collection gets this big funnel right here, and then as you cut, there's another funnel right here, and as you go down, they kind of go together. So this one, I think I was successful. I went from 2-inch to an old vacuum cleaner hose. Now this joint is just duct taped, but it's also fixed. It doesn't move. This joint, I had to heat the hose with the torch and get it squishy, and I put 2 sticks on the inside and kind of spread it apart until it was oversized and it fit. So I can swing from one side to the other side and everything's lovely. I wish I'd have made it like 2 inches longer. That one works, but I could not get this one to work. This one goes from front to back. It goes up, down, or vice versa. And then it swings way over here to way over here, all the while sliding. So the vacuum cleaner hose was too big and too stiff. I ordered some 1.5-inch hose this morning. I ordered it yesterday. It should be here today from Amazon, but it may be late. So I'm probably going to have to take off this 2-inch Y and put a 2 by 1.5 Y, if they make such a thing, to try to give me some more room. And I don't know, maybe it needs to be centered. Maybe this needs to be centered on the saw. I don't know. When I get the hose, I can hook it up to this end and see what I can do. Okay, so it's early in the morning. I'm out of my shop and I'm realizing that my plastic pipe is not going to work the way I have it. I need to have a gate right here, and I got it up in the corner. So this needs to be out here, and then I'm going to turn, I don't know, it's just there's just not enough room to get this hose hooked up to this pipe. Okay, so I just need to turn some stuff around. I need to pull this out as far as I can get it, and then make a little slide gate to close it off, to be able to open and close it so I can use this full vacuum force. This won't work as long as this is open to the saw. So I need a way to turn this off when I use this, and when I use the saw, I'm just going to put the cap back on, so that'll solve that problem. So anyway, let's take it all apart. I'm going to make the blast gate out of this plastic. Is this acrylic, or I don't know what it is, but it's plastic, so it doesn't expand and contract with humidity, and we do have humidity here. So this is what we're going to make it out of, and I'm going to cover it with blue tape so I can write on it and see what I'm doing. Okay, been fritzing with this thing, and I just glued this little pipe in the outside part of the slide gate, and hopefully it's going to be flush with the bottom, because I put some blue tape and I clamped a piece of scrap there, and it's going to go right here, and the slide gate's going to be right here. That's the plan. See if it fits. So the next one, in order to put this in the middle, I need to put a 13.5-inch pipe on the other face of this little slide valve. So this is my plastic. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to seal up the back with blue tape and stick a pipe in there. I might have to let it sit a little longer, because that's a long 13.5. That's a long stick up. So yesterday I glued my little gate together, and now the glue's all dry, so everything's lovely. I think I can get a screw in that corner into the cabinet frame for support. But pre-drill a hole so I don't crack it. I'm gonna try that. And then this doesn't move here, and this won't move here, so I know it's probably not very strong, but it doesn't really have to be. Okay, this is how far we got. This T is super secure. No, it's a Y. I got a cap so I can pull this off and hook up my vacuum cleaner hose to maybe use it on a portable tool. This pipe is super secure. The gate works awesome, but I'm gonna replace this with a longer one, because you can pull it all the way out. So if I put a longer one, then I can put a stop on the backside. Okay, now, next piece is the Y. That's this one. This is a 2 by 2 by 1.5 inches. That's what they had. And this is a 2 by 1.5 inch bushing. So just gonna stick this on there. Just gonna stick this on there. And then this hose is going there. And And this hose is going in the back. So I have a piece of 1.5 pipe stuck in the hole, but the hose still won't go on that because it's too big. However, I got this pipe, which is tapered the whole way, and this was from an old vacuum cleaner because I don't throw things away. And I have 2 of them, and it is tapered, and it gets snug around right there. So I'm gonna cut it right here and see if I can get the if I can get this hose on right there. We'll be in like Flynn. We'll cut it. So I was wrong on the bushing. It's not a 2 by 1.5. It's 2 by 1.25. So I could skip this piece. I didn't need it, and I put the tapered piece in there from the vacuum cleaner wand, and it is really shoved in there tight. So this is going to go into T. This is going to go into T, and I can make it look down or back. I'm not sure. Maybe it might end up at about a 45. So now we're going to try to hook up the hose to this thing and see how it's going to work. It's not quite as efficient as I was hoping, but geez, it really works pretty good, and it's so simple compared to my last setup that I think I'll be able to keep this area clean, and it won't throw stuff all over the floor, all over my face. So yeah, I'm gonna consider this a win. No, you can't really see it, but it's 300,000% better than the old saw, so I'm okay with it. The hoses were a piece of cake. Thankfully I had that tapered black tubing because that solved the problems on all four far ends. I'm going to go ahead and level up the saw and fasten it to the table and start looking at my outfeed tables and get them level with the miter saw table. That'd be a pretty good little challenge for this morning. Good quiet project since it's Sunday morning. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so right now the saw is level. I leveled it up with some little shim stock made from cereal boxes, and it is also level with this table perfectly, and this table is level. And I used a straight edge to get this parallel to the front of this table, although that's kind of really not critical because I'm not going to put a fence up. And so this half is good. Now this half over here is a little different. This is a little different. This part lines up like perfectly, but this tabletop, well, it's kind of level. So we got a deal here, and I need to figure it out. Yeah, this is pretty bad. So yeah, maybe I'll take this top off. It's just screwed down. Plane a little bit off the bottom and reset it and try to get this more centered, and then we'll do the same with this one and the last one. So according to the level, the framing does go up a little bit in the back and a little bit more in the front. I can power plane this, and I can power plane this. If I remove this top, which is not a problem, the back I'll probably have to plane off the bottom of the top because I can't really get the power plane flush back there. And I'm gonna go ahead and take this top off, take the router out, and see what the whole deal is. We'll get it all flat before we go any further. With the power plane on the front and going this a ways, and 2 little cardboard shims on this side, the top was fitting perfectly. I took it off the vacuum. Let's see if it'll fit right when I put it back. Well, that solved the problem. We just had a bump under there. So I'm gonna screw the top back. Well, first I'm gonna, just noticed I don't have a cleat. I don't have a wall cleat back there, so this stuff might sag. So I'm gonna put a wall cleat and then screw these 2 back down. And I'm not gonna mess with this one because by the time you get from here to here with the miter saw, if it's up or down a 1/16 of an inch, it doesn't make any difference. At least not the kind of work I do. So we're almost through with this. So I cut a little piece of pecan to put on the front of this cabinet, just to make that edge a little more durable. Pecan's pretty hard. And now I want to do the same with this one, except on this one I want to pull it way out, like maybe 1.5 inches. I may put 2 strips. But the fronts didn't line up at all. I was thinking about drawing a straight line and cutting it with the skill saw, but there is a million nails little, well, staples. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm assuming this one's good. It really doesn't matter. This is pretty much cosmetic. And I got a little strip of something soft right here. And I'm gonna put it, and I'm gonna scribe that, and it's gonna be a wedge. I'm gonna cut it and glue it and nail it to this one, and then slide the straight edge down and see what I have to do with this one. And then we'll put the finished edge on there, which may be actually 2 pieces, because I want it deep. I like to be able to clamp stuff to my table edges, even if it doesn't have anything to do with the miter saw. I still like to be able to clamp stuff. So that's my thought. Okay, we have some CST urethane tan paint, and it's specifically for bolted tanks only. That'll work.
So I got this paint from the Paint Fairy, and it smelled terrible, and the color is nothing to brag about. But boy, is it hard now that it's cured. You cannot scratch it with your fingernail. So I had enough to put a coat on, and then I put a coat on the box I made for my thickness sander that you haven't seen me build yet. And then I came back and put another coat, all with the same unit, and used every last drop, because once you mix it up, it's you either use it or chunk it. So this worked out pretty darn good.
I haven't shown this yet, but this is the control system. I had to get an offset plug because the ones that stick out hit, and I needed these 2 for the fan. Actually, I need some more, but anyway. So I bought this little thing. It has offset plug, and it's 15 amp capacity, and I thought it would trip, but it doesn't so far. And then this thing turns on the vacuum cleaner, which is outside, when it senses current coming from this cord, which is the saw. So it turns on the vacuum cleaner, and then after you turn this off, it lets the vacuum cleaner run for 2 or 3 seconds to keep the lines clear. So so far everything works. This is ancient. I kind of expect it to die soon, and I think the first time I cut a big piece of oak or something, this thing will trip. But so far so good. Fingers crossed.
And overall, I'm a little disappointed with the vacuum system. I'm gonna look more into this thing at a later date, but right now it's functioning, so I need to move on to other projects. So this was the original base from the original miter saw station. Not even the Bosch. It was before the Bosch. I had a little DeWalt 10-inch saw. So I cut off the overhang, which was the toe kick. It's just a simple 3/4 plywood on top of a 2x4 frame. And then I took the wheels, which used to be under the plywood rack, and they flat spotted because the rack was so heavy. Well, they unflat spotted. They're round again. So I figured this thing's not going to weigh anywhere near what the big plywood rack weighed, which made them fail. So I'm using them again. I'm just screwing them onto the bottom of this frame, and then I'm going to put a couple of little cleats on each end to help me hold up the plywood end frames, just to make life simpler when I go to stand up the plywood end frames. Then I took 2 of my larger drops from the demolition. This is 3/4 plywood, and I ripped them the width of this little platform, which is now on wheels, and we're going to screw them onto each end. And then the plywood gets screwed very well to the ends of the little cart, both to the plywood top and the 2x4 framing, with some manly screws. And it's real easy because I put the little cleat on the bottom to hold them up. And when we get it all screwed together, we have presto changeo, a little cart for my plywood and other scraps, which I've never had before. They always ended up on the floor.
Okay, fabbed up a quick little lumber rack for pieces that are too big to go up there, but are too small to go in the plywood rack. And it's awesome. It rolls around real well. It's gonna do the job. And I've got a new rule. If it won't fit up there, and it won't fit in there, and it won't fit over there, and if it's long, it goes outside, then I throw it away. If I can't fit it in one of these racks, I don't need it. If I need it, then I gotta throw something else away. But I'm not gonna start stacking stuff on the floor anymore. Let's see if I stick to that, but that's my goal. To clear all the lumber off this wall, it hurt my soul. I burned 3 wheelbarrows full of wood. And none of this stuff is like stuff you can get at Home Depot. It was scrap hardwoods, it was longleaf pines, it was very old stuff. you just can't get anymore, and that's why I was saving it. But you know, at some point it becomes a liability instead of an asset when I just couldn't function anymore. So anyway, I burned a whole lot of stuff. And my next project is to make a wooden base for this sander, so that one, it doesn't collect dust under it, and two, I can have storage under it. So I'm probably gonna have to go buy some plywood. I don't have any more big pieces, but that's what we're gonna do today. So took the sander off the metal frame. It is very heavy. Took the frame off the platform, and it looks like it was a little too heavy for my wheels here, my casters. That one's kind of shot. That one's got a flat spot. That one, I don't know how that happened, but I got a lot of casters. I don't know if they're up to the job. And if I have to change them in the future, it's going to be a big pain in the rear. But I think I'm going to use them. Those were soft rubber. These are hard plastic. And I have 4 matchy. I should. Whatever. These were under these roll around cabinets, and they were heavy. And these wheels never failed, so they must be pretty good. Okay. Got 4 matchers. 4 matchy. Let's swap them out.
So about a full sheet of 3/4 inch Home Depot softwood sand ply, I think they call it. It's okay stuff. It's like half the price of a hardwood sheet, and it's better than the construction variety. And I ripped it to the size I wanted. Now I'm cross-cutting it. This is always kind of a sketchy operation, but the camera makes it look much worse than it is. It looks like much more is hanging over than is. More than half of it is hanging over, but it's not that bad. So if you just go real careful, keep your eyes on the fence and make sure the board never leaves the fence. You can see I'm not looking at the blade. The blade's not important. You gotta look at the fence and don't let it turn sideways, or it'll kind of throw it at you and mangle up the board. So because this sander is so freaking heavy, I am putting a rabbet on the bottom edge of the plywood sides. There's a back and 2 sides, and also a rabbet on the corners. And what this will do is this will let the plywood sit on top of the base instead of just being fastened to the edge of the base with fasteners. So it should support weight much better.
So I cut this notch so that this plywood would actually sand directly on that base and not just rely on fasteners, because that thing is heavy. So I'm going to do that to the 3 sides so it'll have some bearing and not just mechanical fasteners holding it.
I realized the ends of these hardwood braces and the plywood were not really a good fit. It wasn't really square, and I want the plywood sides to be secure and vertical. So I flipped it upside down and ran it through the table saw. I wish I would have done this before I put the wheels on, because it was kind of close, but everything worked out okay. So this is the face frame going on. I also notched the bottom of that middle stile so we could have some weight bearing, and I put a biscuit between the upper rail and the stile, and that's pretty much it for the box, except for a few pieces of trim that I'll put on later.
I don't know why things that should be so easy can be so frustrating. I'm just trying to put these drawer glide supports in. And yesterday I burnt like half a wheelbarrow full of strips like this, so I had to cut them out of a big piece. And I cut them short so I can put plywood in the back. And then my little staple gun wouldn't work. I had to take it apart. It was just, I didn't find anything wrong with it, but when I put it back together, it started working again. And then when I went to shoot the nails in the face frame with a different gun, it was mangling and bending the nails and throwing a hissy. I had to take it apart. It had a piece of broken nail in it. So I finally got it nailed. It's pretty ugly because it had a bunch of near misses in it. And then when I went to shoot this side, I shot it low. and there's no getting it out. But anyway, I like to do it this way, and when I install the drawer, I can pull these screws and move this thing around and get it working really well. But this should have taken like 15 minutes. It took like an hour. Oh well, I'm retired. So got my 2 drawer boxes framed and nailed and glued, and I'm gonna be a cheater, baby. I'm just gonna nail, staple, and glue the bottom on there. This drawer is pretty small. It'll be all right. Save a lot of time and save a lot of drawer space. So glue it and nail them. So scribed a line for the bottom of the drawer glide, and I used this board as a guide because these are kind of up and down, so I really didn't have anything to go by. But I just kept moving this, and this was always spanning from front to back. So I think I got a good line. Put the drawer glides on. And scribed the line, but for the life of me, I couldn't see it bending over. So I put 2 little nails on the line. Set the glide, slide, guide on the nails, and then everything's lovely. So I just keep moving these 2 nails down until I get them all on. So with the glide screwed in, it's a 1/2 inch between the top of the part that goes to the drawer and this. And it wants some play, so I'm using a 1/4. So I just scribed a 1/4 inch line down here and screwed it. And I see this one's kind of crooked, but yeah, what could go wrong, huh? Give it a shot. All right, how about that? Is this like the ugliest, best operating drawers you've ever seen? But it'd be all right with a hardwood face on it. Yeah, it'd be good. Now, this one was very tight. I don't know how it got that way. It's still a little tight. But all I had to do was pop the 2 screws out and scoot it over and put 2 more screws in. I may scoot it a little bit more before I put the top on it. It's still snug. And I'm anxious to put the top on it so I can get this back on top, because I really want to work on this because my hose came in, but I didn't want to start this until I got this on this. So now that the drawers are in, as soon as I get this one to work right, I can cut a top for it. Top is nailed on. It's a little small. I'm gonna have to put a trim piece here. I want to put like an inch or so here because I want the top to go out past the drawer fronts. Make sure dirt doesn't just go into the drawer. But it was left over from the sheet I bought, so that's what we got. So now I need to get the template and mark the holes and drill the holes for the bolts that hold this big bad boy down. And there's my template. Okay, the 4 holes are marked. I do not need this metal frame anymore. I need to drill and be ready for Paul in the morning to help me move it. Glue it onto the front. Shoot it with these long nails. Pull down 3 wood strips from the overhead right next to each other. They should be the same, right? Yeah, right. So one of them that I made the 2 ends with is oak, obviously. This, I'm pretty sure, is apatong. Apatong is a imported hardwood we used to use on our lowboy decks and tractor trailer decks because it's kind of like bulletproof. And this, I'm not sure. It might be a Luan mahogany, but it might be like a Tupelo gum, like a gum, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it's all good. It's got varnish on it. I'm gonna roll it outside in the sun so it can be good and hard by the time Paul gets home, and he'll help me move this back onto here. And the sides and the back I will finish when I get the drawer fronts and the doors on.
So I couldn't quite get to Paul's schedule matched up with my schedule, so I'm doing it myself. It wasn't all that bad. I got it some wooden dowels so I can kind of slide it when it makes a touchdown, and then I just kept scooting the dowels over. And it's surprising how heavy this thing is.
Got it. I just need to line up the bolt holes and bolt it down. So this is where the thickness sander is going to live, pretty much where it used to live, except now it's on a wooden cabinet, and I'll have some doors and drawer fronts on there maybe today. But anyway, I want to add a floor sweep. I have that floor sweep on the other side of the room. I forgot how handy they are to keep it, make it easier to sweep the floor. So I'm gonna put this Y up here. I'm gonna move this deal right here to turn the air off and on for the disc sander, and then we're gonna go to the floor, and I'll put another gate. Actually, it doesn't have to be a floor; it could be at a more convenient height. And yes, so I need to take that piece down and cut it and start over again. Okay, that was incredibly easy. I just moved the bracket from here to here, put it on the short pipe, put the Y on, and this is the slide gate deal, and it's going to slide on here, and it may need, probably is going to need some caulk because it's not a super tight fit. And we're going to have gravity trying to make the gate close all the time. So I don't know if that'll be an issue, but I can put something to keep the gate from closing. And the hose fits right on here. So this part's basically done. 2 screws. Okay, I'm gonna rob this pipe here because it used to go to the joiner, and the joiner is now over there, and I don't really know what I'm gonna use it for. So I didn't buy a piece, and if I do need it again, I can buy a piece. I'm gonna take this down. I have to take these clamps off. I hope it doesn't all fall apart. And use it to run that down to the floor. So here's a little slide gate that I think came from inside that cabinet that was on this wall, that I think was there before I even built a cabinet. I think I built a cabinet around it, and I don't remember what it served. But it should work for the floor sweep. It's kind of big and bulky, so I'm gonna trim it, and trim it. Kind of make it a little smaller, but we'll do that on the table, so it shouldn't be a problem. So put the little strips on the bottom that's gonna hold it up off the floor. And they've been clamped long enough, so take the clamps off, we're gonna put it in place, and we're almost done. These are 2 doors from the original cabinets, and I would have used them when I was making all these doors, incorporated them, but I didn't know they were there. They got covered up with crap, and I didn't know they were there. I think these are sycamore. I know some of these boards are sycamore, but anyway, they'll work on the new cabinet. They're just not quite wide enough, so I need to add 1 board to both of them, and then we'll be in like Flynn. So I'm gonna plane down a piece of pecan and cut it out. All right, the door should be more than wide enough now, and the clamps have been on here for a couple of hours, and it's summertime, so the glue is dry. So I'm gonna rip them to the correct width. I'm gonna cut them to the right length. They're a little long now, and I'm gonna get ready to put the European hinges on them, and then I'll turn the camera back on, but you don't need to see all this boring stuff. Got a little bit of a conundrum. How do I fix the drawer face to the drawer and get it in the right place? Because I don't know, I can't really get to the inside of it. Well, I can't get to the inside of it because I put the top on it already. I'm gonna try to shoot a nail or 2 nails. This pecan is so hard, sometimes these little nails bend. And that'll be awful. Well, it won't be awful. It won't be good. Let me shoot it, see what happens. Okay, 2 nails went in. 1 there, 1 there. They left a little oil spot because I had to oil the gun up. Let's see if they stay on the drawer. By opening the drawer. The drawer's kind of spring-loaded. Oh, yeah. Okay, that one's good. I need to clamp it. Put some screws from the inside, and the handle, drawer handle, kind of squeezes them together too. Okay, well, we got lucky. All right, that worked. Sucked it up tight with the clamps, and I put in 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll have the 2 in the middle for the handle. This drawer should be done. Yes, now I need to line up this drawer with that drawer. Shoot 2 nails in it, and I gotta figure out why the hinge doesn't want to close. Perfect. Let's hope the nails go in. Okay, got the door to work right. It was binding in the bottom, so I adjusted these hinges out. I adjusted the hinges out just a little bit to have an adjustment, and that did it. I got the hardware holes in the drawer front drilled, and I found some screws that are long enough, and I have one handle left over. I don't think I'm screwed, but then I realized that I didn't put handles in the bottom doors over here, so I guess I don't have to put handles in the bottom doors here. I'll just have an extra handle or cabinet knob, whatever you want to call it. So, okay, another item is finished, clean, dust sealed base. Not sealed, but better than open base. And I have 2 more drawers and 2 more doors, and I really don't know what I'm going to put in them. I think I'm going to put my 5-inch sanding disc in this drawer. The other drawer's kind of big, and maybe my random sandings. I have belts for my little hand belt grinder. I have sandpaper for this thing. I have sandpaper that fits on the grinder. Maybe that's what I'll put in the other drawer. I'm not sure. But anyway, I should use this thing more. It's a really nice machine. It was not inexpensive. There's a learning curve. You can't stick anything through there. If you put something gummy through there, you're going to mess up the paper, which is not super cheap. And you got to put a new paper on there. But what it does do is it does a good job of sanding, and it sucks up all the dust. So I don't have dust like if I used a hand sander. So it's a pretty simple thing. It's got a disc that spins and a feed belt that you can go any speed you want. You can crank it up and down. So it's definitely a learning curve, but it's a good machine. I should use it more, and that would reduce the amount of dust that I'm dealing with in my shop. And then this half, it's basically this half of the shop is done. I like everything that's here. I don't have my stuff organized in the doors yet, but I like everything that's here. From here to the wood rack is not good at all. We're gonna work on that. The big saw stays where it is, but I would like to improve the dust collection. And all that junk over there in the corner, all those little pieces, parts, screws, or whatever, yeah, that's terrible. That actually, the whole room in here is terrible. Debbie kind of moved in here and started mixing her plasters in here, which didn't help any. But yeah, it's a mess. So, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. I may run out of energy before I get that far, but I'm super happy I got half of the shop done. I gotta do something with the welding machine too. Maybe I'll make a cart for it.